let me congratulate the three states that have elections today: Bayelsa State, Imo State, and Kogi State, and which all these states successful elections, peaceful conduct of elections. But basically, because this is an off-season election, and I get worried about the issue of off-season elections. And I will use this unique opportunity to plead with the National Assembly that we need to block this off-season election. It's very odd. It's not a global best practice. A country can elect their people at different times, like America. Some countries they may not elect everybody at the same time. But anytime they go on to conduct their election, they elect everybody that's supposed to be elected. If we continue with this trend of off-season elections based on the interpretation of our laws by the judicial officer, it will come to it.
Good afternoon, our amiable viewers. We are right back on your screen to give you detailed analysis on the happenings in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa states, respectively. My name is Shegun Odwanya, and I'll be your host this afternoon. Joining me on set this beautiful afternoon, I have two wonderful young men here. Together, we'll be analyzing the situation happening in the three states I mentioned earlier. Adekunle Sulaiman to my left, and Ayontoye Daniel to my right. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. We had you earlier, and this is your second half this day. I know you are a little used to football.
Yeah.
But the second half of the show. And elections are now going on proper. I can see some reputable mediums already bringing in results coming from the states elections that are holding today. And I think the big news, though, is that Dino Melaye, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Kogi State, is involved in another kind of controversy, a man known for many controversies. But this time it's that some persons are saying he did not show up at his polling unit to vote, but the man addressed the press a few minutes ago and said he did cast his vote. Please, any ideas where Mr. Dino Melaye casted his vote earlier?
Yeah, I think previously I read in a report that he was nowhere to be found in his polling unit, and at the same time, another report castigated that to say that he was actually there, but he hasn't cast his vote. But then, whichever way it is, I'm glad that he has come to clear the air that he was there and he has cast his votes, as the case may be. But then, it is very normal in election. You see candidates wanting to, get to every nook and cranny of getting their home settled. It could probably be in one of those situations, trying to see if, with his entourage, to know if voting exercises are going on in respective ward in that polling unit. So that's what I feel.
Daniel, I've covered elections, a couple of times. What we are usually more interested in the mornings, the first thing before you branch out to other polling units is to get these candidates on the line, and when they cast their votes. This is not controversy that should be happening in the first place. It shouldn't be saying, I did cast my vote, and journalists are saying he did not show up. What controversy is, coming up as regarding this matter now?
Well, so far we have heard from the horse's mouth, and that is very important. And we can't really happy points where
there are no pictures of him dropping his paper, the ballot paper in the box, which is the custom when it comes to such days.
Yes, and that is why, like I said, he has said, okay, I have voted. For us, we have to take him by what he has said, and expectations from anybody should just be that, well, he said he has voted. Wherever he has voted, that is his own cup of tea. Of course, we will not have, maybe later we might be having pictures or anything later. But for now, I believe we should still stay with what he has said, that he has voted.
All right, as somebody else who has been speaking to the press is the ex-president, former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who has come out to say that off-cycle elections should be a thing of the past, and that he feels that if we continue in this way, there will be a time when the presidential elections itself will be off-cycle. I think I should just take you back to the issue of off-cycle elections in Nigeria. It began with the man, a presidential aspirant or a presidential candidate of the Labour Party, the recently concluded Nigerian general elections, Mr. Peter Obi, when he was taken to court. The court threw out Mr. Chris Ngige then, and he was brought in to replace him, talking about Mr. Peter Obi.
Yeah.
And it happened in other states as well. Happened in Ekiti, happened in Osun, and you know, we have about 6 or 7 states now: Anambra, Ekiti, Osun, Edo, Ondo. But the ex-president of Nigeria, former president, is saying we should say no to state-grain elections because it may become a norm, and it will even become something that the presidential elections are copying.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shegun. I think you cannot downplay the fact that when candidates are not contented with the results, I mean, the result of the election, they tend to go to the maybe appeal and Supreme Court, and the verdict will determine whether the sitting governor or president or anybody that is in power will leave office for the person whose case or whose verdict as overriding that person's seat. So you can, of course, it has never been like that before, but subsequent things happen, incidents happen which precipitated for that. And just like what we have in Osun, the beauty of it is that whenever a sitting governor or leader is sacked, the years that person has served, the period of years that person has served, the person that is coming in, they will have to backdate it for the person to continue at that time that the person that was sacked started. So if such situation happen, we cannot stop the law. The law supersede whatever decision has been earlier given. So that I don't think should be a thing of that we should not be debating about at all.
All right, very quickly, Daniel. I think the solution, if ex-President Jonathan is saying this, the only way to go is that you ensure that all cases eventually, we pursue the cases up to the Supreme Court before they are sworn in. Because I feel that is the only solution. It means, say we have a governor, Daniel Ayotoye, say from Ekiti or from Oyo, and you win an election, you should not be sworn in until a certain number of days when the case will have gotten to the Supreme Court before the final decision is made. Because that's the only way out of this.
Of course.
Else, you are saying that the court should be abolished. Do you share similar sentiments?
I think that position has been argued by different quarters. Looking at the situation where you sworn in, you ensure that all cases have been concluded before the swearing in. That may not be, for me, I don't think that would really be in the positive part or impact to the state. And in the sense that the state will not be governed within the period, within that period that they will be going to the court to conclude the cases. However, on the other hand, is the fact that we need to understand that such situation, if you as a person have issues with court, the governance in the state should not be stopped because of that. And also, even within the state, we need to look for a procedure where instead of having somebody to resume office and start afresh, why not have situations whereby when there is a case in court and a new person wins the case, it just continues from where the former governor, instead of backdating, from where the governor has stopped.
Think that will encourage more election riggers?
I don't think so.
Because it will feel like, let me go and steal his time after he's just going to complete it.
No,
you don't think that will encourage rigging? That will even encourage fraud? That will even encourage what word am I looking for now? The guys guys holding political offices trying to box the judiciary into a corner. Don't you think we'll get to that stage later in the future?
Are we saying that we don't have rigging now in Nigeria election? Are we saying we don't have some of these things? No, I don't think it will multiply. Okay. What I believe is that by so doing, we will have reduced number of cases. Because, for example, if you understand the fact that, this person has almost used the tenure up to half of the year, 4 years, he has used 2 years. What is the essence of saying I'm going on whatever?
And you don't think that we even encourage others to keep going to court?
If you go to court, the court has not decided. There is procedures to challenging a position or an office in that matter. There are positions.
I'll be coming to you very quickly. So you think it should just be like something that happens? Especially look at the Kogi example now. This lady senator that just got sworn in on behalf of the PDP, Natasha Koti. She will not be starting
at all. The best is to
just continue because
she just continue where yes, more than the tenor.
So
okay, even for this situation that we have now, can she?
No, she can't.
She can't, of course. Even if she gets to that point that they later declare her as the winner of that particular seat, of course, I know. I'm saying perhaps if she has not been declared now, and we have the person that is there, maybe he has probably used 2 years, and they now declare they can't backdate her date.
Yes,
and that's the reality. So we can do the same thing for governors.
That's the same.
Instead of having off-cycles election like we are having now. So if we can apply that.
Brilliant. I mean that's all you get on this show. Intelligent individuals coming to talk about issues that affect the polity. And look at Daniel Ayantoye and Adekunle Sulaiman giving you the very best of analysis as regarding what ex-President Jonathan was talking about. Very quickly, we continue. The Labour Party in Imo State have alleged the electoral materials have been allegedly hijacked and diverted to a private residence in Olu local government area of Imo State. Also, it alleged that the electoral materials meant for the Okigwe local government have been hijacked and taken to the Okigwe local government headquarters. Now, our system, the political space, is not a strange person or strange phenomenon when it comes to rigging, hijacking. You know, such words.
We've had such.
And it has been a continuum today. Adekunle Sulaiman, what is the solution? Earlier this morning, just very early in the hours of this morning, when elections were still meant to be going on, voting was meant to be going on, we were seeing result sheets coming from Kogi State. And then our correspondent, Deborah Tolu Kolawale, also gave us a video of some hoodlums at the NUG Secretariat.
Aglim. Some way,
young men were giving monies for.
Some way, they feel like because of voter apathy and because some people just consider it that their votes need to be sold. Some people have actually zeroed their mind to that. So you don't think
those young men were out to cause violence?
In most situations, they could have paid them to mobilize people, and they could have paid them to mobilize their fellow hoodlums, so to speak, to maybe hamper the process of the election in that polling unit or any place they want them to perform their operation. So it's a clear cut of Nigerians having to reorientate their people again. That look, it is very possible for people to give you this, and it is very possible for you to collect and still do your choice in the election. Yes, vote for because.
Do you believe that you can still collect material stuff from political persons and still vote your choice? Is that possible?
I think the major problem we have in this country is the fact that our political class have ensured deliberately and decided not to make election free and fair in this country. Because you can't see a way where deliberately they ensure that they impoverish the people. And for the purpose of when they have elections like this, they have a way of buying these same people with money, influencing them with gifts or materials. Like, for example, when Dino Milaye, the governorship candidate of the PDP in Kogi State, was speaking a few minutes ago, he said that some people, some parts of the state, some people were giving wrapper to people, to women. You were giving money to women. Of course, he stated APC and whatever. Now, the reality still remains that this political class, they are looking for a way to always influence people during election. And so it's difficult for us to have a free and fair election. And in such situation, it becomes difficult for us to have people to say, yes, they have given me something, I will not accept it. But it's possible, like you rightly mentioned, to say, yes, I've collected this item, but I will not vote for you.
How many percentage of persons do that?
No, it depends. It depends on what. I'm not saying it is good to say you are collecting bribe. It is wrong to say you are collecting bribe to sell out your vote. But if they say, I want to give you so thing by force, but either you say, I don't want it and you leave the place, or you just collect whatever you want to collect and you vote your conscience. Because the reality remains that all these people that are even collecting these funds, you are collecting 1 naira, collecting 2 naira to vote candidates. Remember that you have collected that amount that will serve you for 4 years.
Very quickly, Daniel, vote buying is a continuum alongside the controversy of boys that have been mobilized. Now, vote buying is a thing. Allegations of vote buying in Kogi, allegations of vote buying in Imo, allegations of vote buying in Bayelsa.
Yes.
I mean, most times the persons that are alleging that other parties are involved in vote buying themselves are probably even involved in vote buying.
Obviously, you can't say, for example, now that as far as Nigeria is concerned, that PDP, that is the major opposition party, and the APC, that is the main ruling party, will say they have never engaged in vote buying. They will not tell me that. And that's just even Dino Milaye saying that a particular party is engaging, they are selling their rapper and all that. Would they say they have not invested a part of the money of the campaign of the presidential election, in the presidential election, engaged a part of the money in vote buying? Although it's an allegation, yes, of course. But the reality still remains that we need to put things straight. We need to change our mentality. Exactly. The people, the ruling class, they should let Nigeria be. That's just the truth. Just let Nigerians be and do the right thing.
The SDP candidate of the SDP candidate in Kogi State has also called on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission to investigate missing sheets, missing results in certain local governments. I mean, I was just coming from electoral violence down to vote buying, and now missing sheets, missing results. Earlier we spoke about written results.
Yeah.
Adekunle Sulaiman. It's more like same old script, same old pattern, same of the same, nothing different.
Of course, things like this are not new, and they should not be. They should not even come to us as shock, because, in fact, there were some allegations that there were prepared results. From
we saw pictures of that.
There was video,
and INEC has laid claim to the fact that they are still investigating on it. And you begin to question how INEC is even conducting this electoral process itself, because you assured the masses that you were going to conduct,
going to be on top of the situation.
On top of the situation, and you collected a particular amount of money, money as usual, to budget for this off-cycle election, and you still have situations like this coming up, with the IG also promising us that there will be full deployment of security forces, even the army, the same thing, and you still have situations like this coming up. Then you begin to wonder, you begin to question how the hope, the way forward for the election, further election or future election of this country is going to be. It has always been like that, and it is being recycled like that, on and on and on and on again.
All right, very quickly, incoming on my screen now, coming from my producer, I see that results have been declared at the polling unit of Dino Melaye, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the Kogi election. Of course, remember the controversy behind Dino Melaye today, being that he said he did cast his vote. Journalists said he was nowhere to be found at his polling unit. But the results goes toss. NRN 1 vote. PRP got 2 votes. ADP got 1 vote. SDP got 1 vote. ADC got 7 votes. The APC got 22 votes. And the PDP got 210 votes. 5 void votes in total. 819 registered voters. In one is polling unit. Expected of a politician.
Yes, that is
in the class of Dino Melaye.
That is a stronghold.
Polling units, hands down. We've seen situations where politicians lost their polling units. A big example is kind of the Labour Party during the gubernatorial election here in Lagos. What's his name again? His name escapes my mind at the moment.
Which one?
The Labour Party candidate in Lagos in the 2020.
Okay, Rose.
Daddy did lose his polling unit. Many other persons have lost their polling unit as well. But is this a win for Dino winning his polling unit, or is it still early days?
No, it's still early now, because of course you would expect that a politician who know what he's doing, especially a governorship candidate, would certainly win his stronghold. His polling unit is a stronghold. I don't even expect that someone would just budge into his stronghold to win him there. But it's just a polling unit as it is. So let's see what's unfolds after.
Very quickly now, Daniel, results are coming in. You said earlier that we've been experiencing so much of this catastrophe and chaos here and there, but results will come in because people will do. Of course, people will indeed go out and cast their votes. But now Dino Melaye won his polling unit. Expected of him, I guess. Nothing special there.
Of course, like it has been said by my colleague here, that of course it's a strong unit, it's a strong base, and of course he does not win that polling unit, where else would you expect him to win? And I so believe that this is also early. We expect a lot to come in the course of the election. But my grouse in Kogi is still this issue of getting or finding out that there are some sheets that have been pre-filled. It's a concern, and we should be concerned as Nigerians, because the question is, these materials were in the custody of the Independent Electoral Commission. Yes, and it was handed over from the head office to the polling PO, the polling officers, and it was given to them. And now the polling officers are now showing a pre-filled. So something is
early this morning.
Something is definitely wrong.
They are just going to collect.
And so
exactly, because normally the sensitive materials are the last to be shared.
Exactly.
They
So
are
it's
mostly
very
shared
funny.
on the eve of the election.
Very
so
funny. And even INEC said, of course, that they are going to investigate. How will this investigation? Let it not be at the end of the day that this investigation will end up not being made public. We will not hear anything. But one thing I will say is that if you want to investigate this, find out in that polling, in that result sheet, who won the election on that sheet.
All right,
let's find out.
I think it's also
and made public
that we let our viewers know that hoodlums attacked certain vote buyers in Imo State and snatched 1.5 million naira out of the hands of the vote buyers. We are not too certain who the vote buyers were trying to influence voters for, and we are not too sure who the hoodlums came to represent as well, because it was a match between hoodlums and vote buyers.
Or whether they are hungry
on the pitch of play on election day, or whether they just saw the opportunity to get some funds. We are smiling and laughing over it, but this is actually not too good for our democracy.
Honestly.
But now, hoodlums snatching money is meant for. So it looks like somebody was sending his men to a certain area that it wasn't strong, so that it could ensure that he got the money off those givers, because he knew that without funds that person will probably not win that place as high as expected, or will not win it at all. Did you see the gameplay in all of this?
Of course, it's just a game of the mighty. I know that these people could win me if they give. It's a game of higher bid or higher bidder. If this person gives voters 10,000, there's every possibility that my 5,000 will not match up with the 10,000. So you get. So it's just like these people, they read situations. It's like the situation that is already read. It's just the situation of first to attack. No, these people, if we don't stop them from doing this, there's every possibility that they will bribe these people into voting for them. And of course, we know what the results will be at the end.
It looks like politicians on most ends in this particular game that we are covering so far know that they are coming with different weapons. The weapons of thugs, the weapons of money, and of course the weapon, aside the weapon of thuggery, the weapon of money, the weapon of snatching, there's also the weapon of writing results. There's no entirely balanced report, balanced side, balanced pitch of play for everybody to take part in a free and fair exercise. It looks like all parties, or many parties, came to this prepared. From Kogi to Imo to Bayelsa, from snatching to writing of results. How do we get out of this chaos? And as INEC failed us?
One of the funny thing about this whole mess is that as one point, as we begin to look towards the fact that we are coming to the end of political rubbish and electoral failure, at the next moment you decide, or you just come up, you just see another news coming up that this is what has happened again. We believe at the point that with the new electoral act, that Nigeria is getting to that point where our election will be free, fair, and everybody will be happy at the end of the election to say, yes, this is a credible election. But no, our political gladiators and those politicians who would not allow Nigeria election to have peace and to breathe will not allow the election to go the way we are expecting.
So the political class should allow INEC breathe.
They should allow INEC breathe and ensure that the election is free and fair, for crying out loud. I don't understand the reason why people will take election as a do or die affair. You don't get to a position you want to get there by all means. Yes, of course, it's understandable at one point because most of them have done wrong in the past. Most of them has run the states in the way they are not supposed to run it, and so they believe that if an opposition comes in, they will come and open their secrets to the public. So they are doing everything possible to make sure that they have their own person in that position. So
I think it's also important to note that the governor of Kogi State, of course, he's done with his second time. He's trying to ensure that his party candidate gets the victory at the end of the day. He has come out to applaud all parties involved in the process of this election. He has applauded INEC, he has applauded the security agents, and he has applauded the people for coming out peacefully. It's also interesting to note that while Mr. Yaya Bello is saying the PDP and the candidate of the PDP and Mr. Dino Melaye are saying B.
Yeah.
While those ones, the other side are saying that it's when everything is going on fine, the whole thing is going on well. PDP as a party and their candidates, they are alleging that is the direct opposite of what Dino Melaye is saying. It looks like once it looks like you are in the lead in a certain place, the opposition, the biggest opposition party, will be making noise, and in places where it's not favorable to your party, the opposition will be the one screaming there. I mean, look at this election now. In Imo State, the APC is in power, the Labour Party and the PDP are the major opposition parties. In Kogi, the APC is also in power, the Labour Party, the PDP and SDP are the major opposition parties.
Yeah.
While in Bayelsa State, the PDP is in power, the APC is the major opposition party, and you can just switch places and put the chess players on the different chess boards, and you will find out that it's all virtually about the same thing.
Exactly.
I mean, what is really going on? I mean, are we crying because we are affected, or because you are affected, you want to cry in a certain place that doesn't favor you?
Okay, let me just dwell on the Kogi aspect, because I think it is
The
very
more controversial
it is the
thing.
most controversial there.
Yeah.
It is something that you expect to happen anyways. Just like you have rightly said, that when the ruling party tend to, in an election, the ruling party tend to have the upper hand over the opposition party, and it's always a cry foul from the opposition party, castigating the processes of the election and all. But in what you have in Kogi is something that is somewhat going to happen after all. Yaya Bello is someone that actually wants this election to, favor his candidate. And in that regard, he's putting everything in place to get the person, to get Ododo on board. And here is Dino Melaye, who knows that with what Yaya Bello is saying, if he's saying the same thing in that way, there's every possibility that when they take the case to court, might not be favoring him, because he's not presenting evidence that truly these places, there were contrary opinion of Bello. What Bello is saying did not happen in that place. So those things that they are saying are just a way of, if this thing does not favor us, we already have something in place to present in the court that, this election did not favor us in these so places. There were violence, it was marred by violence, violence and vote buying and all of those claims that he has, said in the video we saw.
All right, the election is still going on in 3 states. Of course, remember that it's an off-cycle election. It is the period when these states do conduct their gubernatorial elections. And why this in the first place? Of course, before now, it used to be 36 states of Nigeria, except for Abuja, where the elections do not hold. But after what happened with Anambra State, where the court threw out Mr. Chris Ngige and brought on board Mr. Peter Obi, other persons too who felt aggrieved with the electoral process, indeed also went to court, and they won their cases, and that was what led to the issue of staggered elections in Nigeria. And today we're having 3 states. 3 states go to the polls. People living in these 3 states and are registered with the Independent National Electoral Commission go to the polls to cast their votes for candidates of their choice. And in Imo State, it's the incumbent Hope Uzodinma trying to seek a second term in office, but he won't be able to get back into office except he's able to get most votes from the voters today, who also have various options in the PDP and the Labour Party being the major opposition parties. In Kogi, it's the APC in power, but they're trying to keep the power within their party, but they'll be coming up against strong opposition from the PDP, and of course their very popular candidate, Senator Dino Melaye. In Bayelsa, Governor Duro Diri is trying to remain in power, but is coming up against the APC and a very strong candidate in former governor and former minister Timipre Silva. We do hope at the end of the day that the life of nobody is lost, even though I was reading reports earlier that somebody had been killed in Kogi. It's politics. Nobody, no life should be lost. I mean, our people should know out there that these politicians will not have their own children carrying weapons for them. When they want to do vote buying, get involved in vote buying, they will not give monies to their sons or daughters to go out there to the streets and endanger their own life. So there's absolutely no reason for you, young man, young woman, to get involved in things like this, because when the goodies start to roll in, there's a strong possibility that you might not even get the role of SSSSA to the SA. So why endanger your own life because of certain persons? Very quickly now, Daniel, the process is ongoing. Election results are coming in. Allegations of vote buying, allegations of rigging. I mean, I don't think I've had rigging yet. Allegations of vote buying, allegations of thuggery, I beg your pardon, not rigging, and all sorts of allegations flying in the air. By the end of the day, elections will hold, and like elections are holding, INEC will count and they will declare. I mean, they said they are going to upload the results as it's coming in, something that they didn't really do in the presidential election, but they did in the gubernatorial elections that held in February. What are we looking out for? What are we expecting from INEC soonest?
Of course, if I start with the last question you asked, what are we expecting from INEC? We're expecting that INEC will declare results as whatever thing they have put together. But again, from the parts of the electorate, we believe that, or personally I believe that everybody should just do his best, vote, cast his votes, and even when we know that those that are in power, they already have a way of maneuvering some of these things and putting their own
Daniel, do you think votes count?
And that's why I said, of course, that a lot of yes, votes at a point counts, but the political gladiators, those that are in the politicians, they know the way they do these things and put.
So you are saying,
put them,
are you saying votes don't count?
Votes
You are
count.
trying not to land.
Yes. See,
do votes count in Nigeria?
Yes,
do you believe votes count in Nigeria?
I believe vote counts. I
Let me
believe
ask
if
you
conducted
very
properly,
quickly. I
vote
hope he
counts.
doesn't reply like a politician like
If
you. I know it's. Do you believe votes count?
Of course, I do believe that votes count.
I mean, if votes do not count, why will anybody be buying votes in the first place? Why will anybody
exactly.
sending talks to
and it's
people?
because it counts. That is why they are buying the votes. If it does not count, why would they
Why they
worry
sending
themselves?
talks? Why is
That's
everybody
it.
sending talks to
They
They
people?
should
know,
have
of
just
course.
sat.
million
They should
for
have
any-
sat in their respective
of
houses
Votes,
and
and then just expect this.
But-
So it counts. That is why all these efforts to ensure that look for example, having a pre-filled voting sheet. If it doesn't count, who will go and worry himself?
I saw that particular one. It was posted very early in the morning.
Yes.
And it was in favor of the APC in Kogi State.
So what do you expect? And I was saying, I wanted to mention that from what you asked earlier, that the governor in the state was commending all the. What do you expect from him? He would definitely commend whosoever is in charge, of course, with the position, with all knowing full well that what as a governor, and he already has that terrain, those people in positions, those roles, he has his way in the state. He has the state in his control. So
all right, Adekunle Sulaiman,
expect?
the election in Kogi is supposed to be a referendum on the ruling party, the APC. I mean, you've spent 8 years, you are trying to bring your man into power. I think it's also meant to be seamless because it's a referendum on what you've done. People are supposed to be voting based on your performances, based on your abilities. I mean, you are the man that sold Ododo to the people, and they should be coming off your CGPA. They should be voting because of what you have done, because of what they've seen you do, and they should probably feel like, oh, okay, this man is coming from Yaya Bello. Okay, we can kind of trust his party.
Exactly.
And then we are seeing getting fillers right, left, and center. It is Kogi that is probably more controversial in this election today. Few result sheet as at 9 a.m. or as at 9:30 a.m.
that should tell you what is happening in the state.
Buying of this, chasing of that. It was also in the same Kogi that the major opposition party, the PDP, the man said he voted. Journalist said we did not see him on the line.
And don't forget the heaviest security presence in these elections in that same
Yeah, it was because of the antecedent of the election.
Of course, look at previous election, violence and all that in the states.
Uprooting of sand and destroying of roads.
Exactly.
What is going on? I mean, this election for me, Kogi is a northern state. but it's southern, kind of, because of, it's more like Kwara State, because of the kind of, but, I mean, you will not expect certain things to be happening, but the tension in that state is actually very high now. Look at the number of security agents in that state trying to keep peace because of an election. Why
like a war zone.
It is always a war zone during election in Kogi, because if you had known that this place has always been a red zone for election, then there is every possibility you deploy security so as to not let people lose their life.
And
because
I think
at the end of the day, the blame will now fall back to the president.
I think the president has really done well for ensuring that they have every security present in that state. If not, it would have been worse than what we had. Of course, you just said we had just one person that died.
Yeah. I was watching the clip a few days ago where the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Rabiu Musa, I wanted to say Ganduje, Abdullahi Ganduje, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje was saying that the president had informed him and had said he should tell party members that the most important things in these 3 states is not entirely the victory of the APC, but that votes do count and elections hold. And that he was making that statement to members of his party to take note that the president has told him to tell them that we are not going to go and claim victory in these states, that they were going out there to present their party as an option to the people. And if the people do decide not to align with their party, fine. And if people decide not to align with their party, it was fine, as long as the winner of the day was democracy. I mean, are we seeing, from what we are getting from these 3 states, are we seeing things being re-echoed? What we are seeing on the streets in these 3 states, is it reflecting what the chairman of the ruling party, of course, at the national level and in 2 states out of the 3 states, the elections are holding? Are we seeing reflections of a statement on the streets out there today?
Honestly, I'll say yes, because Kogi, that I know, election in Kogi has always been marred by violence without even adding anything or subtracting either. In fact, there was a point that they tag election in Kogi to be ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. It's always a day of gunshot. And now when you have I could barely see reports. Hammering on violence in places, unlike what we used to have. You would have seen people, social media would have been abroad with so many videos of people being exactly. You get, but now minimal. Exactly.
All right, so very quickly, Daniel, is democracy winning?
Yes, we are making progress. I believe strongly that we are making progress with our democracy in Nigeria, and if we can work better, we will get to a point that Nigeria will begin to witness elections that will be free and fair, and Nigerians will enjoy the dividends of democracy if we have the good people that we're expecting in place.
All right, there you have it. Daniel Ayeto is saying that hopefully in the future we'll be having each free elections, controversy-free elections. Same opinion was echoed by Adekunle Sulaiman. Fantastic guests we've brought to you this beautiful day. Remember, it's election in 3 states in Nigeria, off-cycle election in Kogi, in Bayelsa, and in Imo. We do hope that the people of these 3 states truly get their reflection, their political reflection echoed at the end of the day, and that the National Electoral Commission does the bidding of the people, because truly we hope that the voice of the people is reflected at the end of the day when results are announced. On behalf of everybody who has been working with this team today, I'm saying a very big thank you to you. Our viewers are Olalekan, Olabode, Olalekan, Adetunji, behind the camera, look at the body, pressing the right button. My producer has been super duper, Margaret Osazua. I can see Sulaiman Adeni hanging in there as well, trying to ensure the progress of this show. Thank you very much to our viewers. And of course, remember that here on the stable of Punch newspaper, the very best and reliable updates will be given to you as regarding these elections. My name is Shegun, and saying have yourselves a fantastic Saturday and a blessed new week starting tomorrow. God bless you.